Happy Halloween. This is my friendly pet spider. Venus! Oh my God! Venus! Venus! Boom! Here we are back again. There's Harper, one of my mother's dogs.
You keep her busy.
Thank you so much. Con just ate on the SoundCloud for the music. We're back with another episode of the Holmes Hour, folks. Let's grab Tyson, who I know would love to say hi. Oh, Tyson! Boom! Here he is, back and better than ever. Good boy, Tyson. Okay. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, we've got an exciting one today, folks. Joining us today will be my friend Kevin Keenan, back for his first time for season 2. Let me just give Petrie a cracker. Oh, Petrie, eat a banana chip so you be quiet. Here, take it from here. Here, take that. Good job, Petrie. Okay. As I said, my buddy Kevin Keenan will be joining us, and I'm going to let him in right now. And we will talk about the games that we saw this weekend, folks, and give our opinions on who played well and who didn't, and what we think of those teams. So here we go. Welcome, everybody, my good friend and local Raiders fan. Local, he's in Chico, but Kevin Keenan. Well, it says he's still joining. Kind of anticlimactic. Here he comes. Kevin, can you hear me, bud?
Let's see. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I see you now. I see Kim K. I didn't know Kim Kardashian was getting ready to join us.
You bet, dude. Here too.
Yeah, so what have you done, right? Yeah. Is that the new Kylie Jenner makeup?
Oh, yeah.
How you doing tonight, man? Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad to be here. I just drove down from Chico. Good to be back.
I see you wearing the old Chico State alum jacket there. I would like to say, folks that are listening in, but since the last time Kevin Keenan has been on the show, he has, in fact, graduated from Chico State in plant science. Let's go. Let's get a round of applause for the farmers of America. Shout out to agriculture, and let's just pray to God that another almond season comes along that was as great as the last one, huh? Am I right, Kev?
Amen, Jordan. I appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, we get some rain too. That'd be good.
Yeah, well, we got a little. You know what? There is some coming woodland side here tonight, I think, and maybe a little tomorrow as well. I know my practices have had to be bended around a little bit because of it, but we'll deal with that as it comes. How are you doing tonight, man? How are you doing? How's the drive? You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to be on the show. Drive wasn't too bad. Installed 84 the whole time. So
I bet you were 84, nice and calm and safe. You know what? I was saying we'll just dive right into it just like we always do. We're talking NFL football. Kevin, lifelong Raiders fan, just like me, myself, right? Let's hear your thoughts on the John Gruden situation. And before we dive way too deep into John Gruden, I also would like to hear your thoughts on the fact that the NFL has also recently announced that they've now found no other incriminating information on any of the other emails they read, and it was only John Gruden who had said anything wrong at this point. Your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously that's a sticky situation. It's a bad situation for the Raiders, but I think, again, it was a private email. John Gruden, he didn't know this whole thing was going to go out. Obviously, you can't really make an excuse for what he said and all that.
Of course.
Honestly, I don't think he should have lost his job, or I don't think he should have been the only one to lose his job. Because like you said, there was like 65,000 emails that were recovered, and he's the only one to lose his job. That seems a little ridiculous to me. So
it seems wild to me as well. And I just the NFL is just like, oh yeah, nope, Nothing. I don't. It's like
Exactly.
not a single spec. Yeah, we've read them all. There's nothing else in there. And you're trying to go.
And the thing is, too, they knew about it. Apparently, what I've heard is they've known about this since the offseason. So why did they choose till like week 5 to release this information?
Yeah, well, like I've been saying it to my pops. I've been saying it to my pops and other Raiders fans. Yeah, we got a little glitchy there. We're all good now, though. Is that someone in the NFL was just out to get Gruden? Like,
I mean, if you hear what he said about Goodell, it's like,
was it Goodell? I don't know if it's exactly to Goodell, but someone was not happy with this man, whether or not what he had said in the emails mattered or not. You know what I'm saying? Is someone, and knowing John Gruden as a coach and as the analyst, I'm not surprised if he pushed a few people's wrong buttons. That doesn't shock me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think he was manhunted down. I really do by higher up NFL officials, and they, canceled as the youngins say these days. But someone had it out for him, and they got the evidence in place to do it, and it was certainly done.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it's like he went out there. I don't know how his players feel and everyone. I've heard like Tony Dungy has come out and said, I know John, good guy. I know I can't defend what his comments are, but personally, I don't think he should have been kicked to the side like that. So I don't think he should have been canceled. KJ
Wright, linebacker, just signed over from Seattle, went out on a show and said basically the same thing. And he's like, we all say stupid things all the time when it's just with your friends. And he's like, let's expose everyone's private conversations out to light. And KJ, the interviewer literally said, do you think John Gruden should get his job back and be forgiven by the NFL? And he's like, absolutely. He's like, we all make mistakes. It's like we all do stupid stuff. It's literally, and then I really like how Derek Carr defends it as well. Carr just goes in and he's like, look, obviously everything John Gruden said was wrong. He's just like, but let's he's like literally right in the camera. He's like, let's go through your private emails and see. Let's go through your private conversations that you weren't thinking about anyone going through, and let's see what you've said. Let's see what you've done to people, and I think that's a great point by Derek. It makes me think here. Let me just change our view. There we go. Now we're both a little split screen on the camera here, a little gallery view. With Shaw, I forgot to do that. So we were like, it would show me when I was talking and then him when I was talking, but now we're split right down the middle. We look great. Yeah, we look great. All right. Let's get off the sad Gruden topics, okay? We'll move on along. Obviously, Rich Bisaccia came in there and is absolutely dominating and doing the job well, right? So let's just dive into the games of the week, okay, man? Firstly, we're going into Tampa Bay versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Tampa Bay was dominating very early in this game. Leonard Fournette gets a couple of touchdowns. Antonio Brown still doing his thing. Rob Gronkowski's out, but it gives room for O.J. Howard to sneak in there and get a touchdown. Tom Brady's playing great football. But, this Philadelphia team's not a bad football team either. They just beat the Carolina Panthers last week. I think Jalen Hurts is progressing very well as a quarterback. They've got some young wide receivers, and they've got some very solid veterans on that defense. A lot of members of that D-line were members of that Super Bowl winning team that beat New England. They still have Brandon Graham. They still have Fletcher Cox. New England, not New England. I meant to say no. They beat New England. I was about to say New England had the D lineman Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, which they clearly don't. Those are Philadelphia defensive ends and defensive tackles. Philadelphia was behind very early in this game. They managed to claw back. They get the touchdown. They end up being just down by 6, I believe. Yes, they end up just being down by 6 with 5 minutes left. Tampa drives the ball all the way down the field, manages to kill the clock and take a knee at this 5-6 yard line. Your thoughts on these two teams? Is Tampa Bay, are they looking playoff and Super Bowl bound? Is Tommy Tizzle going to do this again? He's playing like an MVP caliber quarterback, right? And what do you think about this Philadelphia Eagles team? New head coach Nick Sirianni. Jalen Hurts has been playing good football. Is it good enough to beat top tier teams? Are they going to beat the Raiders next week? I'm not sure. Please enlighten us with your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll start with the Bucs first.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bucs are pretty much right where they left off last year. Obviously, they have endless amounts of weapons. They've been targeting Antonio Brown a lot more these last 2 weeks. But, if he slows down, they still have Chris Godwin. They got Mike Evans. I like Leonard Fournette, too, in the run game. They've been using him. He's been getting a lot more touchdowns recently. Like you said, he got 2 just last week. I think they still have a good pressure on their defensive line. So
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
I have no doubt about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning their division, definitely going to the playoffs. And I wouldn't be surprised if they made it back to the Super Bowl. To go on to the Philadelphia Eagles, though, obviously they're not as good, but I like what you're saying. Jalen Hurts seems to be developing pretty well. They're a young team. They have a couple weapons. Devontae Smith over there at wide receiver. I think they're not there yet, obviously, but we could see down the road where they're going to be. Miles Sanders, he's a pretty good running back over there. I think they have a good core going on with Jalen Hurts and Sanders over there. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. They've got good offensive players, and people who've been there, done that before. I wish they'd use Sanders more. It seems like I think 40% of their running game to this point in the season has been purely Jalen Hurts. And it's not just that he's rolling out on passes and cutting up field, but they're designed quarterback draws and runs like that, which is good. You've got the athleticism in your quarterback to do that. Go ahead and utilize it, but it kind of will leave your main running back feeling a little bit left in the back pocket of the offense, like let me eat. And, when they really started getting offensive production right when they needed it, Miles Sanders was hitting big runs. That's where it came from. He started gashing through and, 10 yards here, 6 yards there. And I just don't know if they're trying to use Jalen almost too much is really the point I'm trying to say. There's other weapons around there. Speaking of weapons that they had but no longer use or are not using much, Zach Ertz was just traded to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, he couldn't play this week against Arizona, but what do you think about that trade? Obviously, Arizona just lost their main starting tight end in Max Williams. I think it's a smart move to bring Zach up there. What do you think about that move by Arizona coming out of Philly?
Yeah, I agree. I think Zach Ertz is a great player. He's had a good career with Philly. I think the Cardinals made a real good decision. Philly, they got Goddard too, so it's not as bad for them to lose Ertz like that, even though I'm not sure how much longer he has COVID or whatever. But I think that was an excellent pickup by the Cardinals. So I think Murray will be able to connect with him very well. So
I think it's going to happen early too. I don't think it's going to take a lot of time. Zach was just playing. It's not like we pulled him off the street or anything. He's ready to go. And this is probably one of the better teams he's ever been a part of. I know he won a Super Bowl, right? But this Arizona Cardinals team is hot, and they're hot fast. So, and we'll get to them when it's time. Tampa Bay winning this game 28-22, moving to 5-1, while the Philadelphia Eagles fall to 2-4. We'll move along to the next game. This was a fun one. Early game over there in NFL Europa. We know that Urban Myer has managed to prove that he can win in the NFL, but can he win in the NFL in the US of A? They've beaten a very down Miami Dolphins team. Brian Flores and Tua Tagovailoa are looking like they are not the answer over there in Miami, while Jacksonville may just be coming up to prove a point that they might be able to win. Now, I will say this. It helps having people like Trevor Lawrence and James Robinson on your offensive end. Marvin Jones is out there catching good passes. Is Miami one of the worst teams in the NFL? Does Jacksonville have enough firepower to get more wins? What do you think about this team? What do you think about Urban Myer, Lawrence, and is Miami one of the worst teams in the league right now?
I think that's indisputable that Miami is one of the worst teams. They're not quite the Detroit Lions, but they're around that area. Tua, I don't think is the answer. Tua is not proven.
They could have had Herbert. They could have drafted Justin Herbert. They took Tua first. Just saying to all the people listening,
right. And I think, the Dolphins, they went 10-6, I think, last season. But I think
they did. They had a good season.
Yeah, they had a good season last year, but I think Miami's defense was definitely a big part of that. But I don't know. I don't think Tua's the guy for sure in Miami. So I don't see them getting too much better throughout the season.
Yeah, they were early predictions to be heavy contenders in the AFC East. They were being talked about as the number 2 team in the AFC East. And if you looked at their record last year, you'd be like, oh, we understand where that's coming from. But we just have not seen that same production. And I completely agree with you. When Tua came in early last year for Ryan Fitzmagic, a lot of the games were really close, low scoring, 10-13, 17-14 football games. And it's not like it was never like Tua had some crazy game-winning drive and he's so clutch. It was always like, well, the defense just stopped this team all day. And the Dolphins put up 14 points and this team was only able to score 10. Like, good job by Miami. And I'm just like, I don't know if I've ever seen Tua step up and win a game in a nail biter outside of what he did when he was at Alabama, and like, it just goes to show, and I've said it a million times, your success in stardom in college does not always transfer over to what you're doing at the pro level in the NFL. Everyone makes a lot of money over here. So,
and then to speak on Jacksonville's part,
yeah,
I actually picked Jacksonville to win that game. I had a feeling.
I think I did too. Yeah, I'm not sure. I might have not.
Yeah, you did. But I was just like, I think Urban Myer, he's probably trying his hardest right now to get a win, which last week he had to, because he's in a hot spot right now. I don't know that he can be a good coach in the NFL. He might just go on back to college, and he probably would be more successful there. But outside of Trevor Lawrence and Robinson, there's not a whole lot of bright spots over there in Jacksonville. So they have some problems.
I agree with you. I don't know if they're going to win another game this season. At least they got one, and it was in Europe, which is definitely something to think about when you have to go fucking fly 12 and a half hours to go play a football game, So,
yeah. And I think Lawrence is going to get better too, though. It's his rookie season, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I just don't know if Urban Myer is going to be there for the long haul, especially with all the stuff that went on over at his pub house and everything. It seems that he has trouble gaining the respect of his players because, and I've said this to you off camera and stuff, but there's a big difference when you're a leader in a locker room that has absolute control over everyone's career and whether they start or whether they play or not, versus being in an NFL locker room. A lot of these people are highly touted. They played for Bama, they played for LSU, and you're the head coach, and sure, you can be like, you can't do this and this or whatever. But at the end of the day, these fools are like, I know what I can do, and I'm not, one man's word is not going to stop me from knowing that I can produce and be something worthwhile on this football field. So I agree with you. I see more turmoil in the future for this Jacksonville team. Final score over there, Jacksonville 23, Miami 20. Jacksonville wins the game on a 52-yard field goal. Miami falls to 1-5, and Jacksonville rises to 1-5. What a matchup. Now, here's a good matchup, and here's two teams that I really do like. I think they've both been playing good football. One of them has been playing worse football in the second half of the season as opposed to the first half, but I think I have good reasoning why. And I'm going to let you lead off with your opening thoughts on these ones, and then I'll tag behind with my own. But why don't you tell me what you think about this Vikings and Panthers matchup that the Vikings managed to pull out in overtime, 34-28?
Yeah, I think the Vikings are probably a little better than their record would indicate, because I think they're 3-3 right now.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins, I think he's a good enough quarterback. He's not the greatest quarterback, but he's a good enough quarterback. And especially with a healthy Dalvin Cook, that offense can get going. And you got Justin Jefferson over there, stud wide receiver. Like, he's definitely their number one over there. I'm not sure who else they have at receiver, but they seem to be getting it done enough with Jefferson.
I will say Osborne won the game winner. He's a young. I don't know if he's a rookie or not. Something Osborne won the game in overtime. Osborne's another guy over there in Minnesota.
Right. I mean, historically too, not too long ago, Minnesota's had a really solid defense. Harrison Smith at safety, all that stuff.
Hitman.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much they've kept that whole core together, but I think Minnesota's a decent enough team. And Carolina has actually not been too bad this year either. McCaffrey being out, that's a huge thing. But Sam Darnold just being out of New York, you could see that he's actually a decent enough quarterback. He was actually able to, thrive a little bit. So, Carolina, they seem like a decent team this year. Definitely have given some teams who run for their money. So,
yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're coming in on. I like the running back talk that you made. Dalvin Cook is clearly a very large influence on whether Minnesota is able to pull games out or not. And I will say the same thing. Carolina started off so strong, 3-0, right? And they've fallen Dallas, and now they lost to Philly, which I did not expect, and then they lose this week to Minnesota, which I kind of expected after their drop to Philly. But no Christian McCaffrey in all of those games. And when they lost them against Houston, it was a rough game in Houston. Houston was playing good football and stopping them really well. I really think their offense took a step down with the loss of McCaffrey. And I'm not saying Chuba Hubbard's not a decent running back. I'm not saying he can't move the ball. But when you have someone so special like Christian McCaffrey in there, it's hard to replace that even when you have a solid running back coming up behind him. And I think that has a lot of reason to do with their woes. And I think he's back in the next week or two. And when he's back, I'm going to say I think this Carolina team is more threatening. And yes, Sam Darnold's been playing good football. He was leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns after 3 weeks. He's been doing well. I'm not taking away from Sam, but you shouldn't lose the entire foundation of your football team just because of one player. And sure, you can argue quarterback. Yes, quarterback, I will say that's fine. We'll look at Seattle and Geno Smith and all them. I'm like, yes, you can argue quarterback, but the running back position should not be where you live and die at. But it's just the case for some teams. Look at Tennessee and Derrick Henry. Where would they be without him, and stuff like that. So it just is what it is in the league for some teams. But we'll keep an eye on Carolina.
Going to clean up some interceptions too. I think he threw 3 interceptions last week.
Darnold?
Yeah, Darnold threw either 3 picks this last game or the game before.
I think he did against Philly. I've only got one against Minnesota, but I think he did.
So he got to clean up
bad ones. He threw some bad ones against Philly late in the game where they needed a drive coming, Clearly he's been playing better than he did with the Jets, but just because you're like, oh, he's not as bad as he was with the Jets, doesn't exactly mean that he's great with another program, So we're going to have to just wait and see there. We're early in the season. I know this. I'm not giving anyone the death sentence right now unless you're the Detroit Lions. If anyone's got a chance to build and come and shine out through these situations. But we'll just keep tabs on those. I completely agree with what you said. Minnesota's probably one of the better 3-3 teams in the league. They've lost quite a few close games early, and they're managing to finish those games out late. They won a close one against Detroit last week. They just beat the Panthers in a close game in overtime, So I'm interested to see what this Minnesota Vikings team can do because it looks like they have a good amount of fight left in them. And I just think that they know they're learning how to close out close games, which is a big step in the development of becoming a mad team to a great team. So we'll keep tabs on Minnesota. Let's see how they do when they play the old Green Bay Packers. That will also influence my decision on them strongly. Minnesota rises to 3-3. Carolina falls to 3-3. The final score in that matchup, 34-28. Let's move on along here. Oh my God. Ravens versus Chargers. Oh, I did not see this coming, Kevin. I did not see this coming. Raiders beat Baltimore. Close game. Baltimore's been winning close football games. LA's been winning close football games and tough matchups. Did LA just fall asleep? Is Baltimore a strong contender? Is Lamar just that guy? Is the Ravens defense something to be completely intimidated by? What happened in this game? What do you think, Kevin? I have my own thoughts, but I'm curious what you got to say.
Yeah, no, I think Baltimore's legit for sure. Lamar Jackson, he's a freak. There's no doubt about it. He can throw the ball just as well as he can run the ball. He's got Marquise Brown out there. That man went off last week.
Absolutely.
He lost me a fantasy matchup actually because the other guy had him. So Mark Andrews, he's been balling out too. But no, the Ravens are a hell of a team, and I think after they beat the Raiders, I wasn't so sure, but they've gone on to win 5 games in a row. And this Chargers team is nothing to just they're not bad. This is a good Chargers team. They fell off a little bit. I picked the Ravens to win this game because I thought the Chargers would have a letdown game.
No crap. You did.
I did.
Wow.
I honestly thought the Chargers were going to have a letdown game, but not like that. I thought it was going to be a contested matchup, but the Ravens have just been finding ways to get wins the entire season against good teams in close matchups. I don't think this is the end of it for the Chargers either, obviously. Justin Herbert is a dog. They got good weapons. They got Williams out there. I know he's been having some knee problems. I think he went out for a little bit in this last game. But, no, the Chargers are a team, a force to be reckoned with as well. So I think they'll bounce back next week. But the Ravens are definitely legitimate.
I agree with you completely. What's really impressed me the most about this Ravens team is how many injuries they have right now.
Yeah.
They are over 12 to 13 people on IR. They lost their starting 3 running backs in preseason, and I've still managed to piece it together. You got Tyson Williams over there, but I will say this: I think their smartest signing and their biggest red zone running threat, Latavius Murray.
Yep.
Latavius can still get the job done. Just left New Orleans last year. Always been a good runner, tough, hard to bring down. I wish the Raiders still had him. I mean,
same here.
He's a good football player. That was a good late pickup by Baltimore to keep their run game alive and healthy. He had some big touchdowns in that win against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tagging into LA, they're a young team, young head coach. I think it's all part of the ebbs and flows of the NFL. They were hot. I think it just simmered down, probably came out. I think what happened was LA happened to come out extremely flat, and I think Baltimore came out extremely hot. And it's tough when you don't, one of the strongest weapons in the NFL is momentum. In football games, it's momentum. And when you literally get none the whole game, when you're just getting smacked on the whole game, it's hard to recover and bounce back. I expected the Chargers defense to play better. I clearly expected their offense to play better. But that happens, man. That happens. Anyone can win any week you're playing in the NFL. Detroit's probably going to win a game. There's only been one team to not win any games. It was Detroit. But I don't think Detroit's going to go 0-17. I just don't. Someone's going to lose to them. Someone's going to lay an egg. The Chargers happen through this week. I do not think that this makes them a bad football team. I think they will bounce back. I think they will recover. I know we expected better football, but that is just how it works in the NFL and in the sport of football. Good job. Good on the Ravens. They're well coached. They've got players that care in that program. And Lamar Jackson absolutely is that dude. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely is that dude. He's going to get it done week in and week out. Great runner. Can also throw the football very well. Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, and they're figuring out the running game. And they lost all their running backs, and they're figuring out the running game. So I completely agree with you there. Thanks for your thoughts on that. The overall record for both of those teams is now Chargers at 4-2, Baltimore Ravens 5-1, with their only loss of the year coming against the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Damn. Jeez, man. That's going to be a tough team to stop. Let's see if they can keep that hot streak going. Couple more less exciting games. The next 3 games are not as exciting. Probably not as much analysis to even be had against them. But we'll start off with this. Los Angeles Rams versus the New York Giants. Obviously, we saw Daniel Jones go down with an injury last week, and Mike Glennon had to come in and fill his place. Daniel Jones comes into this game, throws 51 pass attempts, throws 3 interceptions, has often struggled with turnovers, especially against teams that are much better than them. Matthew Stafford comes in. We've got 4 passing touchdowns and 250 yards passing. Matthew Stafford, now aligned with a real team, with real weapons, and a real defense, seems to be the exact kind of caliber quarterback that we all expected him to be if he had left Detroit, which I'm so happy he did. Your thoughts on Matthew Stafford's rising success going into the NFL and all these new weapons he has around him, and if you think he can get the deal done and make a serious run in the playoffs? And then also your thoughts on this New York Giants team, who is still – I know they've had some losses. They've had some big wins. They beat New Orleans a couple weeks ago. They know how to win games close. I think Danny Dimes is a good quarterback. I do. Is this Giants team any sort of threat in the NFC East, or are they just hogwash for Dallas to run over for the rest of the year?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a serious threat in the Giants. I wouldn't be surprised, I guess, if they pulled out they're going to pull out some more wins, but I don't have them as a serious contender at all in the NFC East. That's going to Dallas for sure. Danny Dimes, I think he still needs a little more time, but he could probably prove to be a good enough quarterback in the NFL. They have some receivers over there like Sterling Shepard, right? They got Slayton too.
They just got Galladay also. Galladay's over there.
That's right, Galladay. But no, at this point in time, I don't see the Giants doing anything. But the Rams, that is a damn good football team right there. And I'm not surprised at all that Matthew Stafford came to LA and is having the season that he is. He's always been a terrific quarterback. He's been extremely underrated just because he's been in Detroit his entire career. And Detroit, you go there to die, essentially. They have a good team. Cooper Kupp is killing it every single week. And when he has a one like off week and they replace with Robert Woods. Robert Woods went off the one week that Kupp did it. So that's a super high powered offense. They got Sony Michel back there along with Henderson. So the running game.
Henderson's been playing great football too. Great football. Yeah.
Henderson's been getting more snaps than Michel has.
No, for sure. Henderson's the guy. Henderson's the starter out there for sure. But you've got another solid backup in Sony Michel. That guy knows how to play football too. He was supposed to be the Patriots' new back for a while, but they clearly have stuck with Harrison White over there.
Yeah, and obviously that Rams defense is no joke. That's been a huge part of their success for years.
Well, any defense anchored by Aaron Donald is going to be something to be feared with. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. I need say no more names.
Yeah,
I need to say no more names. I know.
I like Sean McVay a lot too. I think he's a real good coach, and they're obviously their chemistry is good over there. And I think that they're going to give the Cardinals a run for their money in the NFC West. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win the division.
I wouldn't be either. Although the Cardinals certainly handled business last time they played them, and that Cardinals team is hot like fire. So we'll just have to keep tabs on both those teams and see what they do moving on. Giants fall to 1-5. Rams move to 5-1. Their only loss coming against the Arizona Cardinals. Rams beat Tampa Bay. Rams beat Tampa Bay
handily, actually. Yeah, they beat them well.
They give them. They didn't win it like in a close we barely they handled Tampa Bay. They handled them greatly. So it'll be interesting to see. Another not so close, not that fun of a football game. I called this game dead wrong. You called it spot on. I started the correct defense in this game and still lost my fantasy game, but I made a good call here. Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans. Coach David Culley is trying to work out there with Davis Mills, not seeming like they're able to get anything done, even in close games like they had the one last week against New England, ended up losing it. Even when they find offense and start to hit strides, it never seems to be enough. They found some defense against that Carolina Panthers team as well, but still simply could not finish out the game. Texans lose a very not close one, 3-31 against the Carson Wentz-led Indianapolis Colts, who were very thirsty for a win and were close to a win last week as well. What do you think about this Indianapolis team? Is there some heartbeat that they have a chance to come back and start making some strides to the playoffs? And what do you think about this Texans team? Are we dead in the water? Are we just waiting for Tyrod Taylor to come back, who had a hamstring tear, who's not going to be back for a while? Is David Culley the answer? Or is this Texans team stuck in the bottom tier, as many people feel, and I feel personally, as probably one of the bottom 5 teams in the NFL?
Yeah. No, I'd agree with you on that. The Texans, I don't think there's any coming back from that. Tyrod Taylor, I think they're going to definitely get a little bit better when he comes back in. But just overall in Houston, things do not seem to be going well for the organization, just in general. I don't see the Texans making any type of push in the AFC South. I think Titans are easily going to win that division. But going on to the Colts, I think there does seem to be a little bit of a heartbeat. They gave the Ravens a hell of a game last week, even though they still choked it in the end with the Ravens mounting a huge comeback. But I think that was a good sign of the Colts offense being able to produce. You got Jonathan Taylor back there. He's a really good running back. He produced very well 2 weeks in a row now. Carson Wentz, I guess his ankles must be feeling better. And I think if you can stay healthy, they should be able to have a decent enough passing game. But I don't see the Colts really making any push either. I think they're going to win some more games, but I don't know.
They're in a tough spot. And Carson Wentz has just now started to play the football that you wanted to see him playing, so I'm not going to hedge any bets on them anytime soon, but fuck, man, you never know. Yeah. So, we'll move on along since this one wasn't as exciting. Houston 1-5, their only win coming week 1 against Jacksonville. Indianapolis is now 2-4. Who did they beat their first week? Who was Indianapolis's first win? Do you remember?
They haven't played the Jags yet, have they?
No, I don't think so. I'm looking it up right now. I'm sliding over. Where are you, Indy? Oh, they beat, you know what? They smacked down the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, okay.
Smack down Miami. Okay, moving on along here. Colts are 2-4. Another one. It was a little exciting around the halftime area. Okay, this is not a surprise to me that this team won the game, but they rarely cover, and they did this week. They covered their spread. Kansas City Chiefs, Washington football team. Kevin, your thoughts on these two programs and how Kansas City's doing? Are they faltering? Are they dead in the water? What's the move? They got Andy Reid up there. They got Patrick Mahomes. And then your thoughts on this Washington football team's defense led by Jack Del Rio, which seems to be doing impressively terrible.
Yeah. I'll start off with the Chiefs first. I don't know how to feel about the Chiefs doing terrible. Mahomes is throwing multiple interceptions in multiple games, which he hasn't done his entire career. But I also don't feel comfortable just writing them off totally yet. Andy Reid is a Hall of Famer head coach. Patrick Mahomes, I think, still has that all the talent in the world. I think the Chiefs will probably be able to pull it together, but they haven't really been giving us too much confidence here in the season so far. It might be his brother, it might be his wife. I think he definitely needs to handle the situation at home too. I'm not sure if that's into his play, but the Chiefs have not been looking like the Super Bowl team that they're capable of being.
Let's talk about the brother and the wife for a second here. Two people who probably annoy me the most in the world of NFL football. Jackson Mahomes has always pissed me off. Like literally just always.
Yeah.
Rubs me the wrong way. I hate all the TikToking and all the shit talking he does. You do nothing. Your brother's a dog. That's all. That's why you're famous. That's why anyone knows you. I mean, he was dancing when they played Baltimore. When they lost to Baltimore, dumped water all over a guy who was talking some smack to him. Who had every right to talk smack to him because all Jackson Mahomes does is dance and talk smack. But what really frustrates me, and we're going to boil it to it right now, you're doing TikToks on Sean Taylor's memorial on the night of his number retirement. And you're dancing and doing – there's literally this small square section reserved where they have his number painted on the field, fenced off by a white fence, and he is inside it doing the – you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Screw you, dude. Like, what are you even doing here? Like,
I agree.
Sean Taylor's just like, oh my God, bro. I can't even begin to talk about how upsetting that is to NFL people and Washington football team fans and what Sean Taylor meant to that entire organization. What a piece of crap you are. And then just tying on to the wife, Patrick Mahomes' girl. Tyreek Hill had a game against Buffalo where a pass had bounced off his hand, and the wife just had to go on to Twitter, and she was just like, do not blame that on my husband. That wasn't his fault. That should be counted as a fumble or a miscounted snap. That was not him. And then it was ... But go Chiefs in all caps. And I'm like, okay, like, let's just attack our teammates when things aren't working out well. And let's put people on posters. And Tyreek Hill is one of the best receivers in the NFL and one of the best to ever do it. Mistakes happen. That's football.
Yeah. Right.
Leave the man alone.
I don't think Patrick wants his wife saying that stuff anyway, because he's a leader in the locker room. And as a team, you're not just going to be tossing out all this blame and stuff. You certainly don't want your spouse placing blame on your teammates.
Dowdy wants his little brother dancing on people's memorial numbers too on the day their freaking numbers retired. Like, what's going on, man? And I generally, and I hate him, but I respect Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. I respect what he does in the game and how tough he is to bring down and his ability to play the game of football, of course. But these people around him, they're just making me just like, oh, God, Patrick, like, you're not worth the baggage, like, in my mind, with all that, like, Jesus criminy, like, God bless America. Does your family piss me off? Like,
yeah. Just to switch pages to the former Redskins, the Washington football team. Taylor Heineke, he's okay. He's definitely not the guy. He's not the answer in Washington, that's for sure. But he's doing enough to make him stay in games for the most part. McLaurin's having a pretty good season. That's one of the bright spots on watched him.
He almost reminds me of Kirk Cousins in his time there.
Yeah, right. Well, how old is Heineke? Because he's a older.
You know what? He played, I want to say 25, 26. He was an XFLer for a while and used to sleep on. That's why I think I like Taylor Heineke. I love his story. I love where he came from and battled. Was an XFL player, used to sleep on his family members' couches and would talk about how I'm trying so hard to play football, but I just don't know if I can do it anymore. And they convinced him to keep trying to keep playing. Gets a backup opportunity in Washington, ends up playing great in a playoff game against Tampa Bay, and now he's a guy. I'm not spitting on Taylor Heineke. I'm not, but I just don't think the team they have there right now is ready to go. And I would love to see Taylor Heineke starting in games where the defense was still as productive and as producing as it was last year. But that's just not the case right now. And they're not getting back to the quarterback. I don't know if Chase Young even has over 2 sacks, which is insane. You know what I'm saying? He's their premier. He's supposed to be their Crosby, their Khalil, so.
Exactly. I mean,
do what you can.
Right. Too is if the defense can't hold them at all, it doesn't matter, because they're
what Heineke does. Doesn't matter what McCourty's doing. You can't,
because he's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady can overcome a bad defense. It's not an offensive juggernaut like that. They can't do it.
Absolutely. Kansas City rises to 3-3, still the bottom of the AFC West, while the Washington football team falls to 2-4. Another game. This one was a much closer game when there's some fun stuff to talk about, thankfully. Let's talk about these Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers getting that 7-point lead, taking a touchdown, clicking the old belt, looking right at the Chicago Bears fan, who in Aaron Rodgers' words, I've listened to his interview, he looked right at a Chicago Bears woman wearing Bears jersey who's flipping him off. F you, Rodgers, I hate you. And Rodgers, he's like, I own you, and I've owned you my entire effing life.
Yeah.
I still own you.
I love it.
Aaron Rodgers' overall record versus the Bears, by the way, 22-5.
Yeah.
22-5. Your thoughts there on Aaron Rodgers clearly having one of the largest penises in the NFL, and also, how about Justin Fields, Matt Nagy, Bill Lazor, and the Chicago Bears team? Is there a reason to fret? Are they crappy? Can they not keep making plays and winning games? What do you think about the development of their young guy going on over there?
Yeah, personally, to go start with Aaron Rodgers first, I love it. Aaron Rodgers has been an elite quarterback in the NFL for a long time now. He deserves to be able to talk crap because he has owned the Chicago Bears. There's nothing the Bears have been able to do against this guy this whole time. He's playing, the Green Bay Packers too, their offense, it seems like it's taken a notch or two off since last year. It doesn't seem like they're scoring as many points, but they're still a damn good team. Aaron Jones, he's killing it and running back. But I have faith in Aaron Rodgers, and he definitely deserves to be able to talk all that smack for sure. Then to go to the Chicago Bears, I think the Bears with Justin Fields actually are in a pretty decent spot. I'd like to see how how he'll continue to progress. The Bears, obviously, they beat our Raiders just 2 weeks ago, and they were looking pretty sharp in that game. And they gave the Green Bay a decent enough game this week. They were still in it for the whole time, basically. But yeah, I'm not ready to give the division to the Bears, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're a pretty good team next year.
I agree. I like Fields, and I think they're doing the right things over there. I think Matt Nagy made a good decision in giving offensive play calling over to his offensive coordinator, Bill Lazor. And they were 2-0 until coming into this game with his play calling. And again, they didn't play bad against the Packers. Now, if you're at the game or you watch the game, you'd be someone who'd say that it never really seemed like the Bears had a chance of coming back, even when they did bring it within 3, which doesn't surprise me when you're playing former NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers, and then he gets the game winner. And let me just very harshly reiterate how much I love this. The discount double check and how hard he did it and how legendary that man is. Discount double check. I own you. I've always effing owned you. I still own you. I'm just like, oh my God. I'm so glad I don't have something like that going on in our division.
Oh yeah.
Again, I know we got Mahomes and stuff, but like, Jesus, man.
No, if
Aaron,
Mahomes is doing that to us in like 10 years, I'm gonna cry.
yeah, I'm saying. I read something by a Bears fan who was like, I just know that after seeing Aaron do that, I'm going to be laying on my deathbed, and one of the last things I see is me barely peering my eyes open, and it's me Aaron Rodgers standing over me and saying, I still own you.
Yeah.
I still own you. And he's like, and I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die laying there on that bed, knowing full well that he still does. That's what
Yeah, exactly.
they said that I watched an interview with a Packers fan who had been there, and he was like, yeah, like we took the lead, and I was like, a little drunk and yelling. I was like, oh, like go Packers, and all the Bears fans are basically like, yeah, like what'd you expect, bud? Like, I'm not surprised you lost this one, mate.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Bears.
It's the Bears, and he's like, it just is what it is. Oh boy. Yeah. Checking on the final records of that, though. Packers moved to 5-1. Bears fall to 3-3. Jeez, who would have thought the Packers would be 5-1 after that terrible loss against New Orleans week 1, huh? Damn. Look at the Packers go. Go, Pack, go. I'm a Packers guy. I'll be the first to say it. I am a big fan of what the Packers do on the football field. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot. Probably my second team and my first NFC team, Green Bay Packers. Next game, bit of a snoozer. We've got another snoozer coming up after that, but it's all good football after that. So two snoozers here, but you can give your thoughts on the teams and the quarterbacks or whatever. But Cincinnati Bengals, Detroit Lions, 34-11. Motor City Dan Campbell and those Lions team, probably the worst game they've played yet. And they played a bad game against Green Bay just a couple weeks ago. But we're never really in this. Seems like Joey Burrow and the boys are getting ready to take over in their division as well. Your thoughts on these two teams? Is Detroit just absolutely terribly lost? Do they need a new coach? Do they need to rebuild? Do they just need to finally pay Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders the money they owe him to go out of their curse? I don't know.
Yeah,
what do you think?
That's a good point. I don't think they need to get rid of their coach. Dan Campbell definitely needs a little time.
I like Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
I like Dan Campbell.
Yeah. And he wants to win. He was just crying like the other week because that was a heartbreaker against the Vikings. They've
had four heartbreakers this year.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, easily the Lions could be 4-2 right now. So it's like it's ridiculous. But they need more players. They need depth. And Jared Goff's not the guy. That was a real good trade for LA for the Rams. They definitely
Detroit.
It's just
Stafford wanted out, I don't blame them for making the trade. I don't. Stafford wasn't like they let it's like fly free, sweet bird, fly free.
Yeah. And that might be the one decent thing Detroit as an organization has ever done is like
ever.
Yeah.
The first one. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. Because they have screwed over studs time and time again. People that deserved to be paid, ridiculous. But I don't see Detroit going anywhere. They're going to wait for the rebuild, but Dan Campbell, I think, can be the man. I think he's a good coach, and he definitely needs more time. Now, going on to the Bengals are a good team. I like what got going on over there. I think Joey Burrow, if he could just learn to slide and not get freaking injured,
that was a scary and stupid hit. That was a scary and stupid hit against Green Bay. Dumb.
And Aaron Rodgers told him after the game, he said, dude, you're too good. Like, you got to slide. Like, you can't be taking this injury. Like, there's just no point. I like what they're doing. They got Joe Mixon. He's a top four running back right now, I think, in rushing yards. Jamar Chase, I like what they got going on over there. They got Higgins too. He's a good counterpart with that. I know Boyd's been kind of shit in the bed for you though recently in fantasy, but He's a
weapon. He's someone who has produced for them offensively when they need it. He's someone worth mentioning for sure. I mean, he can play football.
Yeah. So no, I like the Bengals for sure from an offensive standpoint. Definitely.
That all goes to hell if they lose Burrow again, though. So they got to keep him protected. Zach Taylor better keep the boys ready to go. Appreciate your thoughts on that game, Kevin. Bengals move to 4-2. Bengals are 4-2, Kevin.
Yeah. No, exactly.
4-2. That's a damn good record.
I think they played, or no, did they already play Green Bay? They did, huh?
Yeah, they just barely lost to him. Could have beat him twice. 4 or 5 missed field goals in the last 5 minutes of that game.
That's right.
Had several chances to win it. Detroit falls to 0-6. The first time Detroit has been 0-6 since they went 0-16. First time. I hate to say it.
That was 2008, I think.
I think it was Dan Orlovsky at quarterback for them back then. Another blowout game, not as disappointing. More positive to talk about from both sides. Arizona Cardinals beat the Cleveland Browns in the dog pound, 37-14. Cleveland loses Nick Chubb before this game starts, and they lose Kareem Hunt in the middle of it. Baker Mayfield also playing with an injured passing shoulder. Odell Beckham still failing to be very productive for that offense. Jarvis Landry still out. Donovan Peoples-Jones, the only person seeming to make offensive plays up there. The Arizona Cardinals seem like they're an absolute fire, Kevin. Can anyone stop Kyler Murray, J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, who didn't play in this game, actually? Can anyone stop these teams? Freaking DeAndre Hopkins, Rondale Moore, okay? Christian Kirk.
Yep, Kirk.
AJ Green.
Yeah.
The weapons. Chase Edmonds, James Conner.
Connor's been good.
Damn, this team is good, Kevin. What do you think about these? What is Arizona's potential of being undefeated going past week 8? Do you think they're peaking too early? Is this a team that's just ready to get it done? Is Cliff Kingsbury the best NFL coach of all time? Let me know.
There's no doubt in my mind the Arizona Cardinals are legitimate right now. They have a super high-powered offense. I love J.J. Watt leading the defense as well, too. He was crucial, and I think he was the one who injured Baker Mayfield, wasn't he?
He might have injured him. I do know that Baker's been playing through a shoulder injury since week 2. But Baker was coming out, got a strip sack on him in a big drive in the game, punched the ball out right back to the Arizona Cardinals when they really needed something to happen. JJ's always been the guy to make those plays. And you know what? His brother TJ is too. We just saw him do it last week. We just saw him do it 2 days ago.
Absolutely. But no, Arizona, like you're saying, they're dogs over there. D-Hop, I have him on my fantasy team. He's been doing real well. Kyler Murray, he can throw the ball. He can get out of situations. He could be mobile when he needs to, and they have design runs for him as well. But no, the Cardinals are legit. I'm not sure if they're going to go 8-0. I don't know who they're playing the next 2 weeks. But like you're saying earlier, I think the Rams would probably be the only team to really give them a run in the NFC West. With Russell Wilson missing so much time in Seattle, I don't see the Seahawks mounting any type of comeback for the division. The Niners suck. They definitely won't give them a chance or any type of game, I don't think. But no, the Cardinals are a hell of a team.
Completely agree with you.
I got to say, I picked that game wrong. I took the Browns to actually win that game.
I did as well. Another thing, when I did make my pick on that game, I didn't know about the Chubb injury. And then even when I did know about the Chubb injury, I just expected Cleveland to be able to click more offensively in this game. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect it to be such a bash out. And, having Jarvis Landry, of course, would help and things like that. But you know what I think's not being talked about enough is I think Baker's got a rough shoulder injury on the throwing arm, and I think that's highly affecting their ability to make big plays late in the game on long distance downs. Not to mention, you take away Nick and Kareem, and who the hell's the offense on that team? You know what I'm saying? Donovan Peoples-Jones is a step up, but Donald Peoples-Jones traditionally is a third-string wide receiver on that team. Now, a good football player, I shouldn't say third string, the slot guy, because the first two are OBJ and freaking Jarvis Landry. Those are the people who throw the ball. But OBJ is kind of down right now, still coming off the knee, and Jarvis hasn't been on the field, so tough to see.
They need those guys back. They need to get healthy.
They got to get their running backs back, too. They got to get those running backs back. Yeah. I don't think that they have either of those running backs for next week. I don't think they do.
No, they're out. Yep.
Interesting. So we'll have to see what goes on there. Arizona Cardinals, one of the hottest teams in the league right now. Kyler Murray is seemingly unstoppable. Whenever they need to run the ball, it seems to go to him. Edmonds has been doing really good in the open field. James Conner is their power back who they go to within the 5-yard line, and I don't think he's been stopped yet trying to get in there. So we'll see how that goes. Kevin, very good game. America's game coming up on your talk right now. Dallas Cowboys. New England Patriots. Tell me what you thought about that. Mac Jones, Dak Prescott, Bill Belichick, Mike McCarthy going head-to-head down here. Great
that was
game. Overtime, crucial finish. Let me know what you think about them Cowboys. Let me know what you think about the New England Patriots and their developing offense. Please, your thoughts, Kevin.
Yeah. Okay. I'll start off with the Cowboys first. This game surprised me. I'm not going to lie. I thought the Cowboys were going to take it to the Patriots, but it ended up being a terrific game to watch. I think Dak is that guy for sure. Zeke Elliott, he's killing it right now. CeeDee Lamb, how about that? Ian getting that fantasy win. CeeDee Lamb is eating. So this Dallas has a great offense right now. I think they're definitely going to win the division. I have no doubt about it that they're going to win the NFC East. I was a little surprised that they let it be that close with the Patriots, but the Patriots have played good games. They played against Tampa, against Brady too, and I think Mac Jones, he's only a rook right now, so I think he's going to develop for sure, but I think he has potential to be the franchise quarterback over there in New England. I like Damian Harris. He's a good back over there. They have a pretty good 1-2 punch. I forget who their other running back is, but I want to say they use him more on the goal line and get touchdowns, but New England's not there right now. I don't think they're going to make any type of real push. Buffalo definitely has the division, but it was a hell of a game.
It was a great game, Kevin, and I'll tag on what you're saying. Brandon Bolden is the number 2 right now for that team, by the way. I heard what you're talking about. Not the biggest known running back in the league, but he's definitely getting the job done as a 2 in the absence of James White over there for the New England Patriots. I want to say he had a year or 2 in Philly. I could be wrong. I want to say he did. I could be wrong. Maybe that's a different person I'm thinking of. But I will say this, Dallas is continuing to play very well in tight games. And yes, I kind of expected Dallas to blow this team out of the water, as I think many people did. But I tell you what, New England's played really good close games against teams that are supposed to smack them around. And I think that's just Bill Belichick leaking in. And he's just like, we don't play bad against these teams. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what we do. We're going to have a good scheme. New England.
Think about Mac Jones, because I know you were telling me that Mac Jones sucks during the Raider game.
Well, Mac Jones rarely has anything to do with their success. It mainly has to do with their defense. Mac Jones threw a pick 6 to give them the lead late in that game. Dallas turned the ball over twice in the red zone. And this I'm going to tag on Mike McCarthy for being a crappy coach. On 3rd down, Dak Prescott tried to get the ball in, clearly made it in, and Mike McCarthy did not challenge. We'll just QB sneak on 4th. Well, they did the QB sneak on 4th, Kevin, and homeboy fumbled the ball into the end zone. There's another time. Dallas is in the red zone, driving, has a chance to score points. Dak throws an interception. Bill Belichick has nothing to do with the offense, Kevin. That's all Josh McDaniels. That's Bill Belichick with the defense. He's putting the people on the field. He's calling the defensive play calls. And that is one of the main reasons this team manages to stay so tightly into these games. I feel Tom Brady had a poor game against him when he played as well, could not connect with his receivers. It was a rainy night because
that was a huge factor.
New England controls the weather. Yes. Does Mac Jones have good drives and all this? Absolutely. Was I a little passionate when I had said that Mac Jones is terrible? And absolutely. That's not entirely true. Mac Jones is still developing. He's a very young quarterback. But I'll tell you this, and I know the guy dropped the ball or whatever, but a pick six when the game's on the line, it's tough. And way to respond with a 75-yard touchdown. Good stuff, Mac Jones. They're playing good football in New England. No one expected them to be this tight in the game, but it surprises me how little their offense is able to produce behind the fact that they just spent $140 million on a bunch of different receivers to come in.
Yeah.
They stole Aguilar, they stole Kendrick Bourne, they stole Hunter Henry, they stole Johnny Smith, and they're still not moving the goddamn football. Not enough to win games.
Nope.
Not enough. I mean, hell, they lost to Miami.
Yeah, exactly. That was Miami's only win.
Yes. New England, who do you think would smack Miami around, right? So
But you know, Miami. I think that game was in Miami too, and you know that whole history there. New England sometimes loses, even when Brady was there. They would, if they were going to lose a game, it'd be in Miami.
Well, they lost it to the Miami Miracle when they had old Rob Gronkowski out there playing defense on the pre-vet.
Playing safety.
Stupid. Rob missed a tackle and game on. But yeah, good game to watch. So great football game. 2 good football teams Fuck, is Mike McCarthy the answer over there? I don't.
Yeah, that's a good
He's
question.
been doing.
I mean,
They look better than they've looked in the past 6 years. You know what I'm saying? Like right now,
definitely.
they're 5-1. Kevin, the only team they lost to was Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is freaking good. You know, like
Exactly. So I guess I don't know. McCarthy, I guess, could be that guy. But I personally last year, especially after last year, I was like, they need to get rid of McCarthy.
I thought so too. I completely thought so. Dallas moves to 5-1. New England Patriots fall to 2-4, and this 35-29 loss for the New England Patriots. CeeDee Lamb gets a game-winning touchdown pass from Dak Prescott. Dallas and the boys get out of their life. America's team is rocking and rolling. One of the best records in the NFC right now, clearly leading the NFC East by a large margin. We finally made it, Kevin. Yo ho, yo ho. It's life for me. Raiders coming in against the Denver Broncos. The Raiders led by new, outstanding Italian head coach, Rich Bisaccia. He's got all of his women, his daughters, and his wives, all very white blonde women, constantly shown on the NFL broadcast. Nothing wrong with white blonde women. It was just outstanding how similar they all looked. And I will say this, the Raiders came out and they played a good game. They started strong. Kenyon Drake looking like an absolute animal and a great signing. Why are you paying $7 million a year? Because he's finna score 2 touchdowns in Denver, homeboy. That's why we're paying him that much money. Josh Jacobs can put his feet up and take a goddamn sip of a mojito if he wants to. You know what I'm saying? Because Kenyon Drake's getting the job done. Brian Edwards playing great football. Darren Waller, crap, barely even needed to use him. We're playing so good. Barely needed to. And I'm blowing up the offense right now. Henry Ruggs, 50-yard touchdown to make us 14-7. Got 14-0. Gosh dang, Kevin, the defense was all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Max Crosby is that dude. Solomon Thomas is one of those dudes. Denzel Perryman, animal. Abram, animal. Moray, animal. Fakeson, never even heard of him. First start in the NFL in a while. Fakeson got an interception against Teddy Bridgewater, and this was his first interception since the year of 2014 when he was a freshman starting at corner for Virginia Tech. First recorded interception since then, 8 years ago. 8 years ago. He's that guy. He's that guy. We got sad at Robertson because he gave up some big plays early. Put Fakeson in there. Never even heard of him. Playing good football. Playing good corner. The Raiders were all over Teddy Bridgewater. The O-line had absolutely no answer, and the Denver Broncos are embarrassed at home. Fun stat that I want to give you. At this point in Khalil Mack's career, he had 21 sacks for the Oakland Raiders. At this point, if you compare it to Max Crosby, the amount of games they've played and how much they've been on the field, Khalil Mack had 21. Max Crosby, 22 sacks.
Yeah, I like that.
Max Crosby leads all NFL pass rushers in almost every single category: QB pressures, QB hits, sacks, and the percentage that Max Crosby wins when he's pass rushing the NFL, 27.56 of the times he's on the field. Every 4 pass plays, Max Crosby is beating his lineman. Every 4, he's doing his job, which is really hard to do in the NFL. And I'm going to stop ranting here. God, I just love my team. 3 interceptions, 1 billion sacks, a forced fumble. Get out of here, Teddy B. Denver sucks. What do you think about both these teams, Kevin? I'm sorry for going off so hard.
No, dude. No, don't apologize. I agree with everything you said. I think one thing that you forgot to – I don't think you mentioned Casey Hayward, but he was
playing great football, Kevin. 237 snaps on coverage plays. The only cornerback who hasn't allowed a touchdown up yet in the NFL with that many snaps in coverage. Only one.
I used to hate him because he was a Charger and he used to do damage against
God, he was good. He's still good. Still good.
Yeah, exactly. I like Gus Bradley. I think that's a huge reason too. Gus Bradley being in control of our defense. I think.
And I was screaming that from the heavens the minute we signed him too. You know,
right.
He brought in a lot of those names. Perryman being the biggest one, the biggest name to say he brought in, who used to be a Charger. Denzel Perryman leads the NFL in tackles. and he's on the Las
Right.
Vegas Raiders.
And I almost wonder because I like what you were saying, Max Crosby. We got defensive pressure, but we're not blitzing. Gus Bradley doesn't run a blitz heavy defense. I wonder just how many more sacks that we could get. If we brought in the pressure. But the defense, I think, is definitely getting it done enough. I love what I'm seeing from the Raiders. Nate Hobb killing it. Abram is definitely. I think he's a calmer and cooler player. Much better this year than he was last year. Last year, he was a hothead. He was getting unnecessary penalties, missing tackles. He would be like going up there, running with the shoulder. I feel like he's wrapping up better this year, not blowing his coverages. I just like what I'm seeing from the Raider defense, which is the first time I could say this in years. So probably since 2016.
I completely agree with you. Loving the defensive production. Just one little note I have to tag on in there. The Raiders, for the entirety of last year, the entire 2020 season, 16 sacks. The Raiders, after week 6, 15.5.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
Talk about a change of production on the defensive side of football. And I was talking to my dad. I just remember watching us from 2009 to 2013. And I was like, when someone got an interception or forced a fumble, it was the most magical moment of my life because I never saw it happen. I was like, well, we never pick off the ball. We don't do that over here in Oakland. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't.
I remember rooting for Tyvon Branch, Michael Huff, Mike Mitchell. Oh my God.
Those were my guys. I worship them, Kevin.
Yeah, they were good, dude.
So they were good. I know.
I was in the same boat, dude.
They weren't good. Those were my idols when I was younger. Oh man. What do you think about this Denver team, Kevin? Give me your honest opinion. What do you think about Bridgewater? Some NFL reporter had came out and said they have one of the strongest depth charts in the NFL. And my response is, strongest depth chart, y'all fools don't even got a starting quarterback. That's
exactly.
Hit me with depth chart.
I hate the Broncos, so I love to see them in turmoil like this. And people who are hyping them up at the beginning of the season, they're 3-0.
Against grandma, baby sister, and baby mama's team. Good job.
Yeah, exactly. So I had no doubt in my mind that the Broncos were not a legitimate team at all. I do kind of feel bad for Teddy Bridgewater because I actually liked him when he was in Minnesota, and he went through those injuries and all that. But now that he's a Bronco, I don't care. So yeah. Exactly. Out of the Broncos, they're not. Melvin Gordon's not really producing. I think they brought him up and they thought that he was going to be better than what he is, but Denver's just not being able to produce at all. So they're not a good team.
Screw Vic Fangio.
Yeah, no, Vic Fangio is not a good coach.
Sorry, Denver fans. Sorry, Julian.
Oh, yeah.
Raider Nation, baby.
Yes, sir.
Good job by the Raiders team. Way to get it done. And not only did we get it done, Kevin, not only did we get it done, we got it done in Denver. Denver.
Baby. Yeah.
Bye. Rich Bisaccia and all of his girls. Bye. Bye. I love the Raiders. Great job by the Raiders. The Raiders moved to 4-2. 4-2. Second in the AFC West, only behind the 4-2 LA Chargers. Right behind them.
And I think we play them better.
Denver falls to 3-3. I think we played a poor. I feel like members of the Raiders coaching staff and maybe even a few players were aware of what was about to happen to Gruden before the public was aware of what was about to happen. And I think that weighed on the Chargers as well as the Chicago Bears game. Personally. Moving on along here. 2 more games to talk about, Kevin. 2 more games. Both thrillers ending in one play. All these games were both decided by one play. I would love to hear your thoughts. Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks go up against Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. An overtime thriller, a match for the ages. Can Geno Smith finish the game? He doesn't. TJ Watt forces a fumble on him, just like JJ did this week to Baker Mayfield as well. These brothers are unstoppable. These teams are highly united. The Steelers seem to be getting back on track, maybe. Is Seattle going to be screwed for all the games that Russell Wilson is going to miss? Is Geno Smith the answer? Do we sign Cam Newton? What should we do to try to get more offensive production from both of these teams? Kevin Keenan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Seattle is definitely in a terrible spot without Russell Wilson. I have no doubt about it. Geno Smith has been a failed starter his entire career, a subpar at best backup QB, and I think he showed that easily, definitely in the first half. And then when they kind of switched over the offense more and they started running Collins a lot more, that's when the Seahawks started coming back. They let Geno throw it every now and then, just enough, but for the most part,
passes, nothing down the field. Little downs,
yeah, just little. Exactly. Yeah, I think Seattle's in a terrible spot without Russell Wilson right now. The Steelers, I'm kind of skeptical to say that they're a good team again because I don't think Big Ben is, he's getting older. He's doing just enough, but it's basically
there's no way they win this game if they play Russell Wilson led Seattle.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That was the only reason I took the Steelers I was like, oh, it's Geno Smith. Okay. But the Steelers, I think they have problems. Claypool's not looking that sharp. Deontay Johnson obviously is that guy. And then there's Najee Harris. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deontay Johnson, Roethlisberger, and Harris. I know we were talking about that during the game. But yeah, and I do like TJ Watt on the defensive side over there. And I think Joe Hayden too, he was a good pickup for them. He got that was a few years ago that they got him, I think. But
he's still playing good football. Good football. Yeah.
No, he's a good player. And TJ, though, obviously he's a stud. And he's pretty much a solid reason that they won that game, for sure. But I don't really have
he forced a fumble on Geno right after Pittsburgh punted,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't even know if the Steelers are one of their top two teams in their division. I think Cincinnati's smacked them around. Cincinnati's better than them. I think the Browns are better than them. And I think the Baltimore Ravens are better than them.
Exactly.
It's tough to be a Steelers fan right now, but it just is what it is. You've got to go win a real game and go show us that you've got some grit. Yeah, you've won the last 2 weeks. Yeah, you beat Denver and then you beat Seattle without Russell Wilson. So let's see if you've actually got some real firepower in the tank here, Pittsburgh. But hey, not a bad win. Pittsburgh's up to 3-3. Their only other win after the last two I just talked about was against Buffalo in week 1, where the defense came to show out. Seattle Seahawks falling to 2-4. They're going to need to figure out something quick because I don't think Geno's the answer. And I do think that it might be likely that they bring in Cam Newton to come see if he can do something on that team. Could be wrong. Maybe they'll lean on Geno. I don't know. All I know is that you've got 3 or 4 more games to play without Russell Wilson. Yeah. And I would like to find a more creative offensive attack than just having Geno throw checkdowns and hoping Alex Collins can win the game.
Yep.
Just me. Last game to analyze, and then we'll give our quick predictions, and then I will let you go. Again, thank you so much for coming on, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure.
Let's dive into the Monday night game. I did not get a chance to watch a lot of this. I know what happened. I know how it ended. I know who the highlight players were, but I was coaching football. We're getting ready for a tough game against Castle Robles as the Pioneer Patriots here. Buffalo falls to the Tennessee Titans, who lost to the New York Jets 2 weeks ago. Tennessee Titans beat the Buffalo Bills 34-31. Kevin, your thoughts on this team? What do you think about Sean McDermott's play call at the 3-yard line on 4th and 1? Yeah. How do you think about Derrick Henry's amazing ability to just drag his nuts across everybody he plays? What do you think about this Buffalo Bills team? Stupid decision by them, I feel. Probably should have just fucking kicked the ball and gone offensively with it. But, your thoughts, your opinions on both of these teams, and can you even begin to fathom how Tennessee won this game?
Yeah, no, this was a huge shocker for me. I don't know that anyone in America took the Titans to win this game. I sure as hell didn't. Josh Allen kind of got off to a slow start in the first half. It seemed like they ended the first quarter, I think, with a 3-0 lead. Maybe they had a touchdown lead, but, it wasn't what I expected by any means. I have no doubts that Buffalo Bills still that great team that they are. I think they just had kind of an off day. And I think a huge part of it too is Tennessee kind of got healthy again. I mean, let's not forget that Tennessee has been in the playoffs for the last 2 years. What was it? Just 2 years ago, they were in the AFC Championship. And then I think they might have lost in the divisional round this last year. But Derrick Henry, we're running the rock. He's a superhuman, There's no stopping Derrick Henry. And when he can produce like that, then the Tennessee Titans can keep up in any game. And I think Tannehill was actually throwing the ball fairly well yesterday, and they got A.J. Brown back. Julio was back. He had like 59 yards receiving, I think.
Julio made one of the craziest catches I've seen all year. I'm sure you watched the game, right?
I was switching. I was watching playoff baseball too.
Yeah, well, like Julio Jones had a ball thrown to him where it was defended, but he got a hand in there and popped it up, and it flipped about 6-7 yards up in the air. And Julio, pushed off the defender and turned, and he's able to make a tiptoe catch on the sideline as the ball's flying out of bounds. And you're just like, and everyone's like, "Oh my God!" And you're like, "Well, it is Julio Jones,
exactly.
that's still Julio Jones, right?" So.
But I didn't actually watch that part live, but I watched a highlight of that. And so exactly, Julio. But Sean McDermott, I think you need to address that, because that was a terrible decision. Because the way they weren't able to move the ball last 2 drives, at least definitely the drive before too. It's like, why risk it all right there on that 4th and 1?
I completely agree. Buffalo seemed like the better team the whole game, especially offensively. And what if they win that coin toss? You know what I'm saying? What if they win and they'll just take it right down the field? And I don't know, what if Tennessee wins it? My only logical reaction is that Sean McDermott must have been scared of Derrick Henry. Can't stop Derrick Henry. Can't stop him. We need to win right here, right now. That's the only way.
Right. And I know he was validating it. He was saying, I trust in my guys. I wasn't going to not let it happen. So, I mean, Normally, Josh Allen, they can get 4th downs like that. So, I mean, I kind of gave
according to the left tackle, he slipped. He slipped when he needed to make his block. All I know is that they had 3 people. They had 2 people lined up in the A gaps and then one over the B gap, and it was the B gap defender who tackled Josh Allen. Both of the A gap people were blocked by the center and the left guard, and the tackle is supposed to get the member of the Tennessee Titans over the B gap. And literally, right when he makes contact, we're blown backwards, and that defensive tackle was he's on Josh Allen instantly, and they knew what they were trying to do. He was just right on top of him. I don't think any quarterback in the NFL gets over the line of scrimmage at that point. That left tackle, and your tackle's got to make the block. It's unfortunate. It happens in football. Sometimes you simply lose your footing and get beat. I get that, which is one of the main reasons I blow it back. Let's kick the chip field goal and not leave it up to chance on some miracle block that could not happen. You know what I'm saying? So
you're only down 3. You could go into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad call.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
But what do you think? Do you think Tennessee is going to get back? Do you think they're going to come back a little bit? Because I still think that they have a good team.
I agree as well. And you know what? I think they're really knocked down in a lot of people's power rankings, especially after losing to the New York Jets. But I've said it once and I'll say it again. Sometimes you just freaking lose in the NFL, man. Sometimes some team comes out and plays great. Sometimes they have their best game ever, and you guys are playing your worst game ever. And I don't care if you're Kansas City, Tampa Bay, LA Rams, or if you're Jacksonville, or the Houston Texans, or the freaking Detroit Lions. Anyone can win in the NFL. You're all professional football players, full of great football players who was always dominated when they play this sport. Anyone can step up and make a play and win a game. I do not think Tennessee's dead in the water. I'd take Tennessee over Indianapolis. I'd take Tennessee over Houston. I'd take Tennessee over the Atlanta Falcons. So I think Tennessee's probably the best team in the AFC or the NFC South is what I'm trying to say. Oh, I think I added a team.
Yeah, you had it. AFC.
Yeah, you're right. They're AFC. I think either. What I'm really trying to say is I don't think they're dead in the water by any means. I really like their head coach, Mike Vrabel. I really like what they're doing over there. Derrick Henry is the answer. Okay. And I think what's really been a main issue with them is we need Tannehill to play a little bit better football, which he played against Buffalo. He made some good throws. He made the throws we were expecting him to. He hadn't done so, especially against the Jets, which was a big caveat. Everyone's saying, well, Tannehill sucks. Tannehill can't do this. You just have bad games sometimes. I'm not going to bury them based off one poor performance against the Jets. That's not what I'm going to do. And they had a great win against Buffalo. Great win for them.
The Titans and Buffalo have the same record after yesterday.
They're both 4-2.
Yep. Can you believe that?
I can't, because I thought it's weird. You watch Buffalo's the best team in the league. Buffalo 4-2. Same record as Tennessee. Same record as the Raiders.
Yeah, exactly.
Same record as the Raiders. Only one win away is Kansas City, who's now 3-3. One win away from tying them. The NFL is wild, man. You never know anything. until the Super Bowl's over. Then you're like, oh, well, Tampa Bay was the best team in the league. Shit. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
No one was saying that in week one. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why I love the league so much and why I love NFL football. But there was our week 6 wrap up there. Let's dive into the games of week 7. I've barely looked at them. I know you've barely looked at them. We'll just throw gut punch initial reactions out into the air, and we'll see who we think's going to win. Denver Broncos, Cleveland Browns, Thursday Night Football.
Jesus. Well, I don't know if Baker's getting back in, but I'm just going to go with Cleveland no matter what, with or without him. Yeah.
I'm going with Cleveland with or without Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb too. I just think Cleveland's a better football team. I don't think Denver's a very good football team. They might go 3-14. I hope so. I'm just like, screw you guys. I don't think you're that good. That's what's going to happen. I'm picking the Browns. Might be wrong. Who never knows? It's always the NFL. Here's a kind of a toughie, Kevin. Here's kind of a toughie. Early morning game. Kansas City Chiefs, Tennessee Titans.
Jesus, is it in Tennessee?
I believe so.
Give me the Chiefs.
Yep.
It pains me. It pains me. And they could lose
Kansas City Chiefs at Tennessee Titans. Tennessee's hot. 4-2. Tennessee's got the better record.
They do. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna switch it. I'm going Tennessee.
I think Kansas City's gonna win the game.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City is a better football team. I do. I think Kansas City had some tough losses early, but I still think it's Kansas City. And I know Patrick Mahomes.
Well, that run defense is terrible, though.
I know. You're right, and it's freaking Derrick Henry.
Give me the Titans in a close one, very close one.
I'm going to pick the Chiefs in a close one. Maybe we'll bet on that later. I don't know, but I don't know. I might be wrong. I don't know anything, dude. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Oh my Lord. Washington football team, Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay. Yep.
Easy money. Let me see here. Bengals Ravens.
Got to go to the Ravens, but I think that's going to be a contested game.
I think that's going to be a good game.
Yep.
I wouldn't, you know what? And if somehow the Bengals managed to come out because the Ravens were a little flat, I would not be shocked. But I'm going to go Baltimore. I'm going to go with the 5-1 Baltimore Ravens as well.
You got it. You have to.
Carolina Panthers, New York Giants.
Panthers.
I'm going to go Panthers. I would not be shocked if the Giants give this team a football game by any means. And I know we're down to them. I know they're 1-5. They've played some good games against some strong teams. They beat New Orleans. That's their one win of the year. They beat New Orleans. And I think this New Orleans team would play very well against Carolina right now. So interesting to see. But I'm going the Panthers too, just because it's a clear decision. Here's a tough game, Kevin. Here's a tough game. I don't know who's going to win this. I think I know who I'm going to lean towards just because of what trends are going towards right now. Atlanta Falcons, Miami Dolphins in Miami.
Jesus. Give me the Falcons.
I'm going Falcons too. And if the Falcons have won me some money in their 2 wins, because you know what I always boil back to? I just think Matt Ryan is a better quarterback than most of these crappy teams have. That's what I was like. Whether it was Matt Ryan Jacksonville, Matt Ryan Miami, Matt Ryan New York Jets, Matt Ryan New York Giants, I'm like, Matt Ryan's been there and done that, and he's going to find a way to win the game against you guys. Even though they are a lower tier team at the moment, they're better than you lowest tier teams.
Yep, I agree.
I fervently believe that. Here's one's probably easy wash, but shit, you never know. Zach Wilson, New York Jets, New England Patriots.
Yeah, give me the Patriots. I think they're a better team at this point.
I agree. I'm going with the Patriots as well, but I keep saying this. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a surprisingly close game. New England likes to keep them close. We just watched them. Yeah. We watched them struggle against the Texans, and I think the Jets are a better football team than the Texans right now.
They play up to the competition and they play down.
And they play down and they don't finish and they can't win the games, And I know they smack the Jets around, but the Jets aren't going to just be given. It's weird that they're playing their divisional rival again already after 3 weeks. That's weird to me, but whatever. I mean, this is their second game against the Jets now. Let's just give New England all the easy games they can play. I guess that's how the NFL works. Here's a fun one, and I know I have my pick. I bet you have yours. Philadelphia Eagles, Las Vegas Raiders.
This game I actually didn't want to talk about. I think this is going to be a good game, but I'm going with the Raiders.
I'm going with the Raiders too. The Raiders are the best organization in the National Football League. I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna find a way to beat Philly. I think we're gonna continue riding our high off new head coach Rich Bisaccia, and I just think the Raiders are gonna pull this one out. I expect an extremely close football game.
Yeah.
Extremely close. But Derek Carr has way more career game-winning drives and knows how to finish games more than Jalen Hurts in that offense. And the real reason they've been winning as of late is because of their defensive production. And I just expect Derek Carr and the boys to figure it out.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, give me the Lions.
Could happen. Could happen.
I know. I shouldn't say that. It's any given Sunday, but
Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams. Well, I'm with you entirely. Chicago Bears, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Gotta go with the Bucks.
Gotta go with the Bucks.
Gotta
go with Tom Brady. Tom Brady. If any of those games that we've listed are going to be an absolute disgusting blowout, I think this is the most likely of all of them.
Yeah,
because Tom just knows how to put the freaking pedal to the metal and the cleat on your throat to keep it light. Here's another one, man. A lot of these games, you're just like, yeah, this team's going to win. It's funny because you're like, oh, this team's definitely going to win. This will probably be split right down the middle with our picks. You know what I'm saying? Just how the NFL goes. Houston Texans, Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, God. Yeah, give me the Cardinals.
Yeah, give me Arizona, dude. Give me Arizona. And I know we're laughing. Damn it, if Houston isn't going to come out and play the best game they've ever played.
They're going to watch this later. Mills is going to punch your freaking window. And he's gonna...
Did you hear what Jordan Holmes said? Oh, my God. Give me Arizona. Give me Kyler Murray. Give me just Arizona all day of the week. Indianapolis Colts, San Francisco 49ers. This one's not as easy as a pick to me. That's not as easy. San Francisco's down. They're coming off a bye week. They've had 2 weeks of prep time. Indianapolis has won 2 of their last 3, and they're starting to get a little steam going. Niners fans, I'm sure, will be like, oh, Niners are way better. But as a football fan, I'll take a step back here and say, I honestly do not know.
This is a tough one for me, and a lot of it comes in from the Niners coming off a bye. That makes it tougher for me. I like what the Colts have been doing. Like you're saying, they've been hot, but I guess I'll go with the Colts. I'm gonna give with the hot hand. I'm gonna
go with the hot hand as well, but I would not be surprised at all if San Francisco comes out and plays a great football game and the Colts just struggle to even move the football. That wouldn't shock me, but I'm gonna go with Colts here, and I will just be completely honest with the crowd. That is largely based off my dislike of the San Francisco 49ers as a whole, largely. But I'm just going Colts, and San Francisco's probably going to win, but I'm going with the Colts. Yeah. I'm picking Colts. Monday Night Football. This is kind of a good game here, Kevin. This is a good game here. Off a bye, New Orleans Saints. Off a bye against the team who just played Monday Night Football, Seattle. New Orleans Saints versus Seattle Seahawks, led by Geno Smith and Jameis Winston.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Saints because you said Geno Smith is leading the Seahawks. So, yeah. I'm
gonna go with the Saints as well. I think the Saints are a better football team. I know they've lost to some low-caliber teams. I think this is going to be a close game. I just see the offense of the New Orleans Saints inevitably being just better of the two going on. And again, that's purely based off the quarterbacks they have going on. Yeah. I think Jameis Winston is much more proven and much more respected in the NFL than Geno. If Geno came out and win this game, he'd earn a respect token from me for sure. Because I'm like, this is a tough game to come in here and win. But then again, I said the same thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he couldn't get the job done and fumbled the game away for the team. So yeah, I'm going New Orleans Saints. Go New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football. All right, Kevin. We covered the games. We covered our predictions. We've eaten up a lot of time. Love doing it. Love talking football.
Oh, yeah.
Any last messages, shout outs, things you want to say to anyone listening in, or because we're about at the end here.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks again. Thanks for having me on. It's always
of course,
Jordan, for sure. Just go Raiders, man. That's pretty much all I got to say. I think we get the dub this week. So
I do too. Go Raiders. Hopefully we find ourselves at 5-2. Kevin, thank you so much for coming on. Spending some time.
Let me shout out Shanus real quick.
Shane's
killing it in his welding class, man. Ace
Good job, Shane.
stuff. Go Shane.
Good job, Shane. Keep killing it, Shane. Keep killing it. The Holmes Hour demands it. We demand it. All right, Kevin. Thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Thank
On
you.
your sister's laptop, which is why it's 10K. Thanks for listening to the bird squawking the whole time and not complaining once. My mom's house. I'll be home on Thursday. So it is what it is. You have a great night, my man. Again, thank you so much for coming on. Shout out Connor McFarland for the music, Ethan Simmons for the skateboard. Check him out on Instagram. All right, man. We'll call this a night. And I'll shoot you a text after this. And just thank you so much for coming on, bro. Another great one. Another great one.
Yeah. Another one.
Nothing.
Yeah, thanks, boss.
Nothing but fire. All right, bro. I'll catch you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.